Hello there you guys, welcome to another one of my live videos, and today I'm just going to be officially updating you on some more current latest news. So if you do consider drop your likes, and if you do consider subscribe to the channel as always. So this evening reports have been coming out in relation to Marcus Rashford. Now based on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's current appointment as the club's full-time manager, this has convinced Marcus Rashford to snub a transfer to Barcelona, because there has been reports coming out that Barcelona reportedly showed an interest in Marcus Rashford, and reportedly Barcelona see him as a long-term replacement for Luis Suarez of course as well. But obviously Rashford's performances have been very good under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, and he wants to commit his long-term future with Manchester United, does Marcus Rashford of course as well. And he's only 21 years of age, and he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, to be quite honest with you as well. Obviously he still remains under contract at Manchester United till 2020. There's also an option of a further year of course as well. We did hear the rumours before of Real Madrid potentially linked with Marcus Rashford as well, but I've never had any rumours in my head about Marcus Rashford leaving Manchester United. He's Manchester born and bred and all that. He's been a Manchester United player since the age of 7 of course as well, and he has risen up the ranks fantastically well as Marcus Rashford. He's been absolutely fantastic since he broke into the senior squad in 2016. Obviously there were a lot of speculation of Marcus Rashford leaving of course when Jose Mourinho was here of course as well, because obviously Rashford wasn't getting the game time that he would have liked of course as well. So now based on Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's appointment, Rashford is ready to commit his long-term future in Manchester United, and of course he's keen on signing a new deal of course as well. Manchester United have been in negotiations regularly with his representatives of course as well. I think this new contract is going to be a 5-year deal for Marcus Rashford, so this will potentially take him under contract to when, if it's a 5-year deal, I think it'll take him under contract till like 2024 or something like this as well, which is very good news. Also, he's going to get a significant pay rise as well. I think he's going to get an a weekly wage of around £150,000 per week, as well as Marcus Rashford. So that's really good news indeed. But as I did currently say, Rashford's grown, developed, and he's flourished fantastically well under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course. As I did say, since he has recovered from that ankle injury, that he did sustain against Liverpool, he hasn't been playing to his potential best. He hasn't been like lightning. He hasn't really been getting them runs in behind, of course, as well as Marcus Rashford. But his performances under, mainly under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer have been fantastic indeed. And I think him and Lukaku, are a fantastic partnership, to be quite honest with you as well. But I always said Rashford looks very effective, centrally, of course, as well. He can play out wide, but obviously he looks very effective, when he's playing centrally, of course, as well. But obviously, that's very good news, of course. Obviously, we know we've sorted a lot of contract renewals out as well. We know that we've still got to try and get Herrera to sign a new contract. De Gea to sign a new contract as well. And obviously, Juan Mata, of course, we've got to try and sort him a contract out as well. But these are a host of players, where we have given them new contracts. We saw us give Martial a new 5-year contract, was it? Chris Smalling signed a new contract. Jones got a new contract as well. Scott McTominay signed a new contract, of course, as well. Who else? There's been a few other players, that signed new contracts, of course, as well. But yeah, very good news indeed. So reports saying now he's ready to commit his long-term future in Manchester United is Marcus Rashford, and he's set to sign a new 5-year deal worth £150,000 a week, which is very good in the process indeed. As you're all aware, that Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has got the Manchester United job on a full-time basis, which is very good indeed. Of course, it is a 3-year deal. He's currently signed, as we all know, and obviously his target, now is obviously, obviously to get us back being a competitive elite level football club. Obviously get us up there, competing again, and get us up there challenging for silverware, and hopefully winning a silverware as well. But it is essential that Manchester United get the right players in the summer. Of course, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjaer wants around 3 or 4 players this summer, of course, and he obviously has identified the areas where he thinks Manchester United, of course, need to strengthen up. I think we're going to get around over £200 million to spend this summer. So obviously we've got a board that can invest who Solskjaer wants to bring to Manchester United this summer, of course, as well. And obviously we do expect departures, of course, as well. But Solskjaer's done a really good job. As I said, he deserves a job full time. Of course, his annual wage is £7.5 million, of course, as well. Obviously, he's going to be receiving more than Sorry, guys, Matt. Obviously, he's going to be receiving more than Liverpool's Jurgen Klopp, more than Chelsea's Maurizio Sarri. Obviously, he's going to be on more the new Ryan May, of course, as well. But it is a 3-year deal, of course, as well. So if he does well in this 3-year period, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, obviously, Manchester United will then, have talks of getting him another contract as well. So I think he is planning for a long tenure at Manchester United. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, of course, as well. But he's done a fantastic job, of course, as well. But his annual wage is $7.5 million, of course. It's obviously half than what currently Jose Mourinho was on, because Jose Mourinho was on £15 million a year, of course. But it is a big pay rise, compared to what Ole Gunnar Solskjaer was on at Mold, because he was on like £400,000 per year with Mold as well. But it is a 3-year contract. Ole Gunnar Solskjaer signed, and he's been enjoying it so far. At Manchester United, as I did say, it's been a great experience for him so far. He's been working well, with the coaching staff and the players and all that as well. And he's a really good manager, to quite honest. I know he hasn't got a great managerial pedigree as it stands at the moment, in terms of like winning any major honours, having any like sort of long tenures, of course, as well. But I do believe he can elevate this team forward, and he can get us back to the way we was under Alex Ferguson, of course, well. But we know the performances have been good, mainly, the results have been very good indeed. Defensively, we've really improved, since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer has come in as well. But obviously, we're still looking to hire a director of football to come in as well, as we all know. But Solskjaer, don't forget, was a great player for 11 years, of course, and he knows the club inside out, of course, as well. But obviously, it's essential that we get the right players to Manchester United in the summer, because obviously we do know that other teams are obviously going to plan to invest in their squad in the summer, of course, as well. And we do know that obviously Solskjaer's been in regular contact, with Ed Woodward and all that, about what players should come in, and what players, should leave Manchester United in the summer as well. So he has been in regular contact with them. It is essential that Manchester United, either win the Champions League this season, in that aspect, we'll invest more money, or if we don't win the Champions League, try and finish in the top 4 as well, because obviously Champions League football, we need Champions League football for next season, so that in that way it'll make us have a more competitive summer transfer window. And obviously we do want to get the players to the highest level, of course, as well. And it would be ideal, for Manchester United, to maybe get some, young players, that could grow, develop and mould under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer, because it does seem to be a lot of the experienced players, that are causing us the problems. That I think Solskjaer's priority is to recommend the right winner to come to Manchester United, of course, as well. I think he's interested in bringing a fullback in. Recent reports did say earlier on this month he wasn't too interested in buying any defenders, because he wants to give our current defenders a chance, to impress and prove themselves, and of course, as well. But I think the left-hand side would be okay, because obviously the majority of the attack is coming from the left-hand side, as we all know, as well. But we do know overall a lot of money's being spent on Manchester United, since Alex Ferguson left, a lot of money's being spent on Manchester United, about £600-700 million, something like that. The majority, obviously the majority of that money we've spent on them players, the 90%, we spent has obviously, gone on the wrong players, to be quite honest, with the wrong mentality, and all that. So we're seeing players come in, we're seeing players go, we've had the, managers, with different philosophies, of course, as well. So now we've got Solskjaer. This is our 4th permanent manager since the departure of Alex Ferguson, of course. Well, so hopefully Solskjaer is obviously in the process of rebuilding this Manchester United team, and is obviously looking to buy into our history, of course, as well. But don't forget, great player for 11 years, won a lot of trophies. One of his most iconic moments, obviously, was in 1999 when he got Manchester United the treble, of course, as well. So yeah, I'm really delighted, that he's Manchester United manager, on a full-time basis, of course. And I do have a lot of confidence in Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. He's a good tactician. His philosophy is very good, indeed, as well. Questions will be asked. If we fail to win our next 2 or 3 games, then maybe questions will be asked. Was it a mistake giving Solskjaer, the job on a full-time basis, of course, as well. But he does deserve it anyway. Initially, it was obviously, going to be. He did say initially Manchester United, wanted to announce it, before the Watford game as well, and we did it at the right time. During the international break. But we've done well as well, considering, the amount of injuries, that Manchester United have had as well. And, we have got a good team, but obviously we know we need new additions to come in, of course. We haven't got a team that's good enough, to put amount of title challenge at the moment, but we get the right players in the summer, of course. I think we can potentially, be title contenders, of course, as well. So it's really good news about Marcus Rashford, as we all know, as well. So he's ready to commit his long-term future in Manchester United, which is very good. So I think this will take him under contract to 2025 or 2024, 2025, if it's going to be a 5-year deal. Well, there's obviously an option of a further year as well, so it'll probably be till 2025, and this will obviously obviously, take him to the age of, 26, 27 years of age, when then he'll be still classed in his peak years, of course, as well. So yeah, that's really, really good news indeed. That's coming out of the media of course as well. We do know that there's still reports going out about Philip Coutinho as well. So reports have been coming out in Spain saying that Manchester United may be still keen on landing Philip Coutinho this summer, because reports have been coming out from Spain and all that saying that reportedly Coutinho is told some of his Brazilian teammates and all that that he is strongly considering leaving Barcelona this summer, because he's enjoyed a very, very difficult time as a Barcelona player as Philip Coutinho. He's been there 14 months now. I think he's been there nearly 15 months. He struggled to fit under Barcelona's system. He's lacked game time as well. There's been possible talks of him making a return back to the Premier League. He's been linked to have moved to Manchester United. Could he make a return to Liverpool? Chelsea's name's also being mentioned of course as well. But yeah, as I did currently say, recent reports did say that Manchester United are not actually interested in getting Philip Coutinho, to be quite honest, because he's obviously not a priority. And recent reports did say that Manchester United are not interested in signing Philip Coutinho. As I did say, he's been in Spain just over a year, of course. Barcelona paid 142 was it, or 143 million pounds, something like that, because obviously he's the third most expensive player in world football at the moment as well. I still think he's got a long contract with Barcelona as Coutinho as well. He's mainly an attacking mid. He can also operate as a winger, but he is mainly an attacking mid, of course. And he did have 5 great years with Liverpool, of course, as well. But he hasn't lived up to expectation levels in Spain, of course, as well. So there has been a lot of rumours of him leaving, Barcelona. Obviously, we heard a narrative back in January, that Manchester United, had made negotiations with Philip Coutinho's representatives, of course, as well. And I think Solsjaker is keen on adding depth, in our midfield, of course, especially, if Ander Herrera leaves, or if, Paul Pogba leaves, and all that as well. So there's still talks about, going on that Coutinho could still make a move to Manchester United. We do know he probably still would cost us in the region of around 90 or 100 million pounds. So Barcelona, potentially won't recoup the initial 142, 143 million pounds, they paid for him from Liverpool in January of last year, of course, as well. So I think Coutinho does want to leave Barcelona, of course, as well. But I think, obviously Solskjaer's identified top 3 targets, as recent reports have basically, mentioned, of course, to be quite honest with you as well. So I do think I know, Solskjaer's top 3 targets, because reportedly he has basically said to Ed Woodward that reportedly he wants Crystal Palace's Aaron Wan-Bissaka as a right back. He wants, West Ham's Declan Rice, of course, as well. And he wants Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. And just Jadon Sancho is the club's #1 priority target, as we all know, as well. So reportedly they are Solskjaer's 3 top targets, reportedly, as it did currently say, and he wants 3 of England's hottest prospects this summer, as it did currently mention in the media as well. Of course, they're all upcoming futures as well, of course, as well, because you've got Aaron Wan-Bissaka who's 21, you've got Declan Rice who's 20, and you've got Jadon Sancho who's just turned 19 years of age, of course, as well. So if Manchester United were to get them that trio in the summer, reports are saying basically it could cost us it could cost Manchester United in total of around 170 million pounds reportedly as well. But we do need someone on that right hand side, that's young and ambitious, of course. Well, we especially need a right winger, that can play between the byline, that can put crosses into the box as well. But for me, potentially, we probably do need a right back, to be quite honest. And recent reports have been saying that reportedly, Manchester United are reportedly interested in Aaron Wan-Bissaka. Reports do say that Aaron Wan-Bissaka reportedly is valued at around 40 million pounds reportedly as well. He's a Crystal Palace right back, of course. In my opinion, I think his defensive capabilities are supposed to be very, very good indeed. He is a good upgrade, to Valencia and Ashley Young, of course, as well, because obviously Aaron Wan-Bissaka, still got a lot of years ahead of him, of course, as well. I think he shows that determination that he can play out from the back, of course, as well. Obviously, so far, he spent the entirety of his, playing career with West Ham, because obviously he's only, 21 years of age with Crystal Palace. He's spent the entirety of his playing career so far with Crystal Palace. Obviously, he reached up their youth system and all that for a good 8 or 9 years or something like that. And obviously, I think he made his senior debut for for Crystal Palace last year, of course, as well. Did Aaron Wan-Bissaka, but reportedly he's valued at around 40 million pounds. Is Aaron Wan-Bissaka, of course, as well. So I think he's one of our priority targets. But as I did currently say, he would be, to be quite honest with you, I think he would be, a good upgrade, to Valencia and Ashley Young, because obviously we know Valencia is definitely on his way out of Manchester United. It's likely he's going to be leaving this summer after we opted against that decision, trigger his that 1 year extension, and obviously he comes to an end. He comes to an end of his contract at the end of the season, of course, as well as Antonio Valencia. But this is what his 10th season now in the process with Manchester United, and of course he's age 33, of course now anyway. So potentially he has passed it. We've got obviously Ashley Young, our first choice right back, of course, as well. Ashley Young's passed it now. He's very, very inconsistent now. To be quite honest, over the years he has been, he has grown, developed, and he has been very, very essential. To be quite honest, mainly when he was younger, he was mainly right winger, but obviously most recent we operate him as a right back. Now and again, we've rotated Ashley Young to the left hand side, of course, as well. But obviously, by the time his 1 year extension, expires, Ashley Young, that 1 year extension, we did for Ashley Young by the time that expires. By the time that expires, of course, well, Ashley Young will be nearly 35 years of age, of course, as well. So potentially we probably do need a fullback, to be quite honest with you, as well. As I did say, there's been talks going on about Declan Rice, as well, as I want to give you an update on. Well, he actually can play as a centre-back, but I think he's mainly a holding midfielder, he's Declan Rice, to be quite honest with you as well. He plays for West Ham, he's only 20 years of age, of course, and obviously this trio, that's our top 3 targets reportedly, they're all English, of course, as well. Declan Rice is only, 20 years of age, as we all know. He's under contract with West Ham till 2024, as well. Reportedly, his performances this season for West Ham have been very, very good, indeed, and I did initially say that I think we need a holding midfielder, that's fast and tenacious, to be quite honest with you, as well. Because obviously, Fellaini left in January. Obviously, we've got Matic, even though I think his performances have really, really improved under Ole Gunnar Solsjaker, Nemanja Matic. I still got reservations about him because he's aging up, he's slow and stuff like that. So I do think we need a fast and tenacious, defensive midfielder. Obviously, Declan Rice is only 20 years of age, so he has got a lot of years ahead of him, to be quite honest with you, as well. So reportedly, his name is being mentioned. I think he's valued at around £40 million as well. So if Man United, if Man United are willing to pay, what West Ham may want for him, then West Ham, may do business with the player, of course, as well. So we do know, obviously, the number 1 target for the summer, of course, is Borussia Dortmund's Jadon Sancho. So it's essential that we do get someone on that right hand side, of course, as well. As I actually showed you earlier on my last video that I currently did, possible. I did a starting 11 prediction, for next season as well, including, the signings that Manchester United are interested in. But Jadon Sancho reportedly is the club's number 1 target reportedly this summer. Manchester United could still end up paying in the region of around £100 million for Jadon Sancho, a 9-figure sum. Obviously, this would make him the most expensive English footballer ever. Obviously, still one of England's upcoming prospects as well as Jadon Sancho. He broke into England first team last year as well. But Manchester United, we still believe that we could land Jadon Sancho for around maybe £80 million or something like that. I think Manchester United officials, have been in negotiations, with his current representatives, Jadon Sancho's, of course, as well. He's still got a contract with Borussia Dortmund till 2022, as we all know, as well. But his performances in Germany have been fantastic. He's got a lot of tenacity about his play. He can put crosses into the box. He can provide as well. He's good on that. He's good out wide. He can score goals as well, and he's proven this fantastically well. So he may be keen on making the move to England. He's attracted interest from quite a few teams across Europe. It's also said that Paris Saint-Germain have also, been interested in the 19-year-old as well. And he's just recently turned 19, Jadon Sancho. And obviously, he's been at Borussia Dortmund a couple of seasons now. Obviously, he's a former Manchester City player, where he spent a couple of years. Obviously, didn't get guaranteed, to get in the first team or play regular. And this is the main reason he left Manchester City. And of course, went to Borussia Dortmund, of course, well. And Borussia Dortmund paid just £8 million for him from Manchester City, of course, as well, Jadon Sancho. But as I did say, Borussia Dortmund, have been known, for doing business with their players, of course. But we know, obviously, he's not going to come cheap, Jadon Sancho, but we have got the financial power, to meet his valuation. Obviously, Solskjaer is focusing on attacking additions to the squad, of course, as well. But I think his priority is to get a right winner to Manchester United, of course, as well. And I think he complement our team very, very well. I think he'd be a good addition to the team, and I think Jadon Sancho is the solution to Manchester United's problems, without a shadow of a doubt indeed. So we have stepped our efforts up, and we will go all out, to sign Jadon Sancho this summer, even if it means Manchester United, having to pay up to £100 million for him, of course, as well. But he is a very, very good player indeed. So I think he's a club's number 1 target is Jadon Sancho as well. And as I've obviously, been updating you as well, on other transfer targets, of course, as well, in relation, to Napoli's Koulibaly, recent reports now have indicated about him saying that reportedly, Napoli have confirmed that he's not for sale this summer, Koulibaly. So obviously our summer move, for Koulibaly, does look now in serious jeopardy, to be quite honest with you as well. Even though recent reports did say before that reportedly, Napoli, demanding that they want at least around £130 million if they are willing, to sanction Koulibaly off. Of course, obviously, if, this would obviously make him the most expensive defender, make him our most expensive sign, of course, as well. And obviously, Manchester United being long admirers of Koulibaly, as we all know. Obviously, in the process back in January, we held negotiations, with, Napoli and all that, we didn't come to an agreement. We had 3 bids turned down in the process as well. Obviously, the recent one was obviously, 95 million that Manchester United, had turned down by Napoli, of course, as well. He's still got a contract with Napoli till 2023, as we all know as well. Napoli only paid, what was it, £7 million for him from Genk, or something like that, as well. But he's been at Napoli a number of years now, and we do know that he's a world-class centre-back. He's an experienced centre-back, of course, well, he's 27, so he has still got a lot of years ahead of him, as Koulibaly. His defensive capabilities are fantastic, shows that ability to play out from the back. He's also good in the air, as well, and he'd address our defensive deficiencies, fantastically well. And we do need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof, of course, as well, which is very, very essential indeed. But to be quite honest with you guys, I think our pursuit now of Koulibaly this summer looks in serious jeopardy, because I think Napoli have confirmed that Koulibaly is not forced, is no longer for sale, of course, as well. But he's still under contract with Napoli till 2023, of course, as well. So I don't think we're not intending on going for Koulibaly, because obviously we've got other alterations. We're looking at other targets, of course, as well. But we have been long admirers of Koulibaly, as I did say, as well, Eric Bailly, of course, could he possibly leave Manchester United this summer, because he's been in the team this season, of course, as Eric Bailly as well, mainly Solsjaker's been going with Smalling and Victor Lindelof, as a centre-back partnership. And to quite honest, I'm going to be honest, they have blended in fantastically well of Victor Lindelof and Chris Smalling, most recently. Since Smalling's recovered from injury, I think his performances have improved. This is his 9th season now at Manchester United, of course, as well. I think he's made about over 300 odd appearances in all competitions as well. But as I did currently say, if the future's uncertain of Eric Bailly, Phil Jones's future is uncertain at the club as well. So we do need someone that can partner alongside Victor Lindelof, of course, as well. And we do know that there's obviously, been talks about Leicester City's Harry Maguire. Obviously, he was a Manchester United target last summer as well, was Leicester City's Harry Maguire, of course, as well. And he was talking about before, his ambitions, to obviously, play to the highest level, playing Champions League football, go to a team that's capable of winning trophies or challenging for trophies and all that as well. But now recent reports have basically said, I don't think Leicester are willing to sell him. Reports were mentioned, saying that Leicester have risen a 98 million price tag for Harry Maguire. So reportedly, if Manchester United had any chance of getting him this summer, Man United had to pay in the excess of around £98 million, and obviously make him our most expensive signing, and obviously, making the most expensive defender in world football, of course, as well. And Harry Maguire's performances this season for Leicester have been good. Last season, obviously, he signed a new deal with Leicester until 2023, of course, as well. And Man United, are capable, of doubling, Harry Maguire's wages. He's 26 years of age, should I say. He's still got a lot of years ahead of him. He's been at Leicester a couple of seasons now. But I think when he was back at Hull, I think, Manchester United had also showed an interest in Harry Maguire as well. So we actually, potentially, have been interested in him as well. We have been interested in him as well. So it's essential, that Manchester United, have got to get a central defender in, as we all know, as well. So we may not get one in the summer, we may do. I'm not too sure, to be quite honest with you, as well. But now Koulibaly reportedly is not for sale, so our pursuit of Koulibaly looks in serious jeopardy. So it is a doubt now, but obviously, we've got other targets in mind, of who Manchester United, do want to get, of course, as well. And obviously, as I've been keeping you, as I've been keeping you up to date. Now, obviously, Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's got the job full time. Obviously, he's rejuvenated the team fantastically well. The majority of them, are playing to the potential best, as we all know. But I still think there's a couple of players that need to step up to the plate. Obviously, you've got Alexis Sanchez, of course. Who's been here just over a year at Manchester United. He's been very inconsistent, indeed, as Alexis Sanchez. And when he has played, he's looked so restricted. It just looks as though he hasn't been getting that freedom. And I just think he's been playing defending a restricted position, to be quite honest with you, as Alexis Sanchez, because he's versatile, of course, as well. But he's 30 years of age now. He has lost that yard of pace, let's be honest, as Alexis Sanchez, of course, as well. Obviously, considering his substantial wages he's on, it's obviously going to be hard for him, hard for us to find a buy for him this summer, unless we're considering loaning him out, or Sanchez is willing to take some kind of wage cut. I do not know, but maybe Solskjaer may give him the benefit of the doubt. When he does recover from injury, I think he's set to recover from this knee injury in April as well, so he's out of action until April. So maybe Solskjaer may give another chance, to try and prove himself, and then if he doesn't, Solskjaer, will Sanchez offer this summer. But he's been very, very disappointing indeed. He's lacked goals and all that as well. So he just emphasises, how ineffective Sanchez has been, of course, as well. And he's been, his 14th month now as a Manchester United player, and he's suffered quite a few injuries as a Manchester United player. And he's only been here just over a year. I don't think he suffered any injuries at Arsenal. He might have suffered one or two, but I don't think he suffered many at Arsenal. He was there a number of years, of course, as well. But he's not playing to the highest level anymore. I think he's on the decline, to be quite honest. So in my opinion, I think we need to get rid of Sanchez this summer. I think another player that needs to step up to the plate is Fred as well. We know Fred hasn't really been given the opportunity. He hasn't had a lot of game time, since we got him last summer from Shakhtar Donetsk for around £50 million. But even when he has played for me, I just think he's been inconsistent, to be quite honest. He hasn't made an impact, and for me, I don't know if Fred is a long-term solution, to be quite honest with you as well. But we do know, obviously, Fred is one of our fringe players, of course, as well. So I haven't been impressed with him. But we do know, as I've been updating you on a regular basis, that rumours have been going on, as we all know as well, guys. Rumours have been going on, obviously in relation to Paul Pogba, of course, as well, as we all commonly know. Obviously, reports have been coming out from Spain that reportedly saying that Paul Pogba has reportedly made a decision on his Manchester United future, and I think he's actually pushing for the move to Real Madrid this summer. Reports have been coming out today, reportedly saying that Real Madrid are preparing to put £125 million bid in for Paul Pogba this summer, reportedly. Hopefully somewhere along the line, Manchester United somewhere along the line can come to an agreement to get Paul Pogba a new contract. Recent reports did come and say, that Paul Pogba had turned down a contract offer from Manchester United, of course, as well. But I think Real Madrid are the front runners, to get Paul Pogba, of course, because obviously Paul Pogba, obviously has been talking a lot about Real Madrid, saying it, he's described them as a dream club and all that, saying it's one of the biggest clubs in the world, of course. And he did basically say, Real Madrid is a dream for anyone, so he does potentially dream of playing for them. So obviously it just indicates, what Paul Pogba said in relation to Real Madrid, that he's not planning to spend the rest of his playing career in England as well. So I think he's intending on making the move to Real Madrid this summer, is Paul Pogba as well. And I want him to stay at Manchester United, because he has been one of our most influential players, of course, as well. Mainly he's been getting that freedom, to express himself. Of course, his form's been rejuvenated fantastically well, and he's done fantastically well in his 3 month or so period under Ole Gunnar Solskjaer. And of course, well, with Solskjaer being appointed Manchester United manager now, could this potentially change Paul Pogba's mind, of course, as well. But reports are saying that Real Madrid are preparing to put 125 million in for him. Of course, he has been talks that he could possibly make a return back to Italy as well, because he did have 4 great years there with Juventus as well. But I think his agent Raiola is working on it, and he's in the process. He's trying to find, Paul Pogba a new club. Is Raiola, of course, as well. But obviously, if Jose Mourinho would have still been in, definitely Paul Pogba, would have left Manchester United, as we all know as well, because obviously he wasn't playing enough. Obviously, he had a bad relationship, with Jose Mourinho as well, did Pogba. But there's been a lot of talks, going on about, and I think Man United are standing firm anyway. And, if any offers do come for Paul Pogba this summer, I think Manchester United, of course, are going to turn them down. Obviously, as well, Paul Pogba wants a significant pay rise, of course, as well. He's demanding that he wants an annual wage of 14 million, if he's to go to Real Madrid or make a return back to Juventus. So potentially, he would make him the highest paid player at Madrid, of course, as well. So he's obviously demanding that he wants around an annual wage of around 14 million, of course, as well. But obviously, Zinedine Zidane this summer is obviously planning for an investment with Real Madrid, as we all know, as well. Obviously he's going to get around £300 million to spend this summer, I think, as well as Zinedine Zidane. Obviously he's getting around £300 million to spend this summer. Florentino Perez, I think the Real Madrid president, is giving him this, of course, as well. And obviously Zinedine Zidane has obviously identified quite a few targets, as we all know as well. Eden Hazard's on his agenda. Obviously I think Sadio Mane's been on his agenda. Obviously now Paul Pogba's on his agenda as well. But even recent reports did say that Paul Pogba, he's happy at Manchester United, now for the time being, of course, as well. But there's been a lot of talks going on about it, so his future's uncertain at the moment. We know under Herrera's future is uncertain, at Manchester United, of course, as well, because there's been a lot of talks going on saying that reportedly, PSG have expressed an interest in Herrera. I think his future is up in the air at the moment with Manchester United, of course. But obviously, Manchester United are still in the process, of trying to get Ander Herrera a new contract at the club, and I do hope we do. To be quite honest with you, it's his 5th season now at Manchester United. Since Ole Gunnar Solskjaer's come in, he's been playing more regularly in the team as Herrera. He's been fitting that midfield trio very, very well. His defensive capabilities have been very, very good. He's a good ball playing midfield. He's been breaking the play very, very well, indeed. So hopefully, somewhere along the line, we can come to an agreement to get Ander Herrera a new deal. But recent reports did say he wanted to stay at Manchester United. He was keen on signing the contract extension and all this, but reports have been coming out saying that PSG have expressed an interest in him. Reportedly, PSG willing to offer him £150,000 a week plus a 3-year deal as well, and I think he's demanding that he wants a wage increase under Herrera. But I think PSG are looking for someone to partner alongside Marco Verratti in their midfield, of course, as well. And obviously they'll identify under Herrera as a good replacement for Adrien Rabiot, because it's likely Adrien Rabiot is going to leave PSG at the end of the season. We'll definitely want a central midfielder in there as a replacement, if Ander Herrera does leave this summer. But at the moment, I think his future is up in the air, of course. Well, it also said that Arsenal had also entered the race, for Ander Herrera, of course, as well. So that's some some rumours, to give you an update on, of course, as well, guys. I wanted to give you an update on. But as I did quickly say, guys, to be quite honest with you, so it's good news that's come out this evening in relation to Marcus Rashford. Reportedly, he wants to sign a new deal. He wants to commit his long-term future in Manchester United, which is very, very good. I think it's going to be a 5-year deal worth around £150,000 a week, according to the media. I first read about this in Sky Sports this evening, to be quite honest with you. Reportedly now, obviously now Solskjaer's got the job full time. This has obviously convinced Marcus Rashford to remain loyal to Manchester United and snub a transfer to Barcelona, of course, as well, because obviously Barcelona, of course, are obviously looking for a long-term replacement, for Luis Suarez, because obviously, Luis Suarez, of course, is aging up now, as we all know, as well. But very, very good news indeed. And Rashford, will get playing to his potential best soon, because obviously, since he's recovered from his ankle injury, he hasn't been playing poor, but he hasn't been playing to his potential best, because we know what he's capable of, and we know, his finishing's also improved as well as a Manchester United player, which I've also, been very, very impressed with, indeed. So that's very, very good news, and he's looked very, very good alongside, Romelu Lukaku, to be quite honest with you. But the good news is tomorrow, it's today, should I say now, because it's just past 12, Manchester United got Watford at 3 o'clock. Obviously, I have to have a glimpse at the highlights, of course, because obviously it's not on TV. I probably won't be able to stream it anywhere. But as I did currently say, guys, Manchester United, should win. It's essential that we win to keep our top 4 ambitions alive, of course, because obviously we're sitting 2 points, behind Arsenal at the moment, 2 points behind Arsenal at the moment, as we all know, 3 points behind Tottenham as well. So it's essential that we win, of course, against Watford. Watford is sitting 8th in the league, of course. They haven't done too bad under Javier Gracie, to be quite honest as well. So I think a host of players are set to return for Manchester United, which is very, very good. We had quite a few players, that had to withdraw from international duty, of course, as well. But yeah, we'll have to see what happens in that game, of course, as well. And obviously, you've got Liverpool-Tottenham on Sunday, which is obviously, going to be a very, very good game indeed at Anfield. Obviously, Liverpool, from their perspective, will want to win that, of course. Obviously, they want to keep their title ambitions alive, but they actually are sitting top of Liverpool. Obviously, I think the 2 points ahead of Manchester City, of course, but City do play before Liverpool, because City play today at 12:30, I think, against Fulham, and you probably think, that City would win that, of course, so City would go top by a point. But then if Liverpool were to win, on Sunday against Tottenham, Liverpool would go back top, of course, because obviously it's between Liverpool and City for the league, as we all know. Obviously, Liverpool, Liverpool's priority is obviously, to win the league, of course. And for me, I hate both teams. I hate City, I hate Liverpool, but in a way, it would be good if Liverpool won the league, because obviously then that would stop Manchester City, achieving the quadruple, of course. And obviously, I don't think they'd win the quadruple anywhere, because obviously I don't think any team in English football's ever done it. To be quite honest with you. But as I did say, I don't think City will win the quadruple anyway. It is still a possibility, you know, to be quite honest with you as well. But obviously, Liverpool's priority is to win the league, of course, because obviously they haven't won it for nearly 3 decades, of course, as well. But, you know, Tottenham have been in really, really bad form of most recently. As we all know, they've been in really, really bad form. I think they're winless in the last 4 league games and all that as well. So you probably fancy, you know, Liverpool, you know, to beat them at Anfield. But, you know, anything, of course, can happen in football, as we all know as well. City, obviously, in terms of their experience, you know, they've got more of the experience, you know, obviously, you know, because they've already won 3 titles of Manchester City, of course, as well. So obviously, they're looking to win their 4th title, Manchester City, of course, as well. So it is definitely between Liverpool and City this season. So Liverpool, Tottenham, you know, is going to be a very, very good game, indeed, as we all know, as well. So as I did say, yeah, good news. You know, Solskjaer is set to commit his long-term future in Manchester United. You know, which is very, very good news. Indeed, Marcus Rashford set to commit his long-term future in Manchester United. Solskjaer's been appointed Manchester United manager now, and this is convinced, you know, Rashford to remain loyal at United. I never had any worries anyway. I never had any concerns. I never knew he was. I knew he wasn't going to leave Manchester United, of course, as well, because he obviously adores the club, as we all know. But now he's ready to sign a new deal, which is very, very good, indeed. So anyway, guys, drop your comments, likes below on the channel. If you do, consider subscribing to the channel, as always, and take care. God bless, guys.